Okay, hello everyone. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys had a good time. This is day 12 of creating our own application for iOS and Android. It's going to be a recipe app that we've created, and we're eventually going to launch it. Um, and here's how it stands so far. I have been working on it for a while now. Just to make sure we are in a good place. I did tinker a lot with the look and feel of the application. I think it's in a better position, but is it the best? I don't, not too sure about that. So we're gonna keep working on that. And so far, what we've kind of done is we've added some functionality in the application. There's two functionality. There's pasting your recipe, and then you can copy recipes over by pasting the link, and then it has a parser that it runs through the recipe or the link through, and then adds the recipe, and then gives you an option to kind of edit the recipe and then save it over here. I've also added a plan mode where you can plan your recipes out for the week. um yeah, initially I had a very orangish um look to the app, and I'll show you what that means if I go and open up a recipe. This is a field. This field I really like, but my goal right now is to kind of get it ready to have it ready to be pushed and at least get the first version out. So we're gonna try to do anything that's gonna help us get there. Um, in the meanwhile, we basically want to get it production ready, and then I'm gonna work on making the UI better as well. So um okay, and in the meanwhile, if you have any questions or any ideas, feel free to put that in the chat, and that way we can address those as well. Okay, now I've been kind of doing some back and forth with the AI to try and kind of understand how, if it is production ready or not. In fact, I think let's just start over again. Can you assess if this application is production ready, and can I push it to test flight for now? Hey Safi, how are ya? Thanks for joining. So since you've joined in, I'm just gonna do a recap for you of what we've done so far. I hope you can see my screen properly. Um, Give me a second. I believe you can't see my... Okay, perfect. Are you able to see my mobile screen? Oh yeah. Okay. So here's what I have this whole setup now. So this is the first home page where you can kind of it shows you all the recipes that are kind of stored over here. This is what we've done. It kind of adds it by alphabetic order. Um, then you've got the add function where you can either go ahead and paste your recipes, or you can import from a website. I really like this feature, but I think we would have to do some more work to have this feature pushed into production. So I'm thinking maybe disable this for now, so that we can at least get the first one updated and ready to launch soon. Um, and then you also have this choose a recipe function where you can basically schedule or plan to cook something. So let's say you want to cook something tomorrow, you select tomorrow, you select the recipe, and then you can add that to the plan. Yes, already done so, Safi. Yes, it's there. So it's on X. And right, so that is a that this kind of gives you an idea of how you can plan out your um cook what you can cook for the next few weeks. And then it also gives you this option of a grocery list. This is basically where you can plan out, and if you need to buy a recipe, if you want to buy ingredients for the recipe, you can buy that over here too. So if we go into the recipe in itself, and then you can select ingredients that you want to purchase, select those, it adds that to the grocery list. So here's your items, and then you can choose to keep it or remove it. And let's say if you're shopping, then you can kind of mark this as something that you've picked already, and it's kind of gives you like a checklist that you can work with. And you can also just click over here and clear that list as well. So here's what I am kind of having troubles with. I really like this piece of when you open, I really like this look with a little bit of orange, and then it's really nice. But I'm trying to kind of translate this feel and look over to my library, but that's where it kind of always doesn't do a really good job with it. I mean, it makes it decent, but it doesn't have a really good um, look and feel as compared to the one over there on the recipe card. So that is one of the things that I need to kind of make it better. But what I do want to work on right now is how we can kind of. So this application was completely made through AI, right? So now I want to kind of understand how we can make it production ready so that we can at least push the first um, version out to iOS and kind of see how we build up on that after it. So um, okay, so here's some of the findings that it has. I would not ship the current configuration to test flight unchanged because the website import is still coded to prefer Firebase emulator when the flag is enabled. Okay, the import client chooses the emulator first. Okay, Google sign in is not ready in the current setup. The screen requires platform specific Google client IDs. Add sign in shows a missing configuration warning and still renders at the Google CTA. Add this in your local environment. All Google clients are missing, so testers will see a disabled sign in path. Okay, several tester viable flows are explicitly unfinished. Um, the add flow itself only shows two captured methods. Hi, Safi. The trial paywall messaging is ahead of the implemented commerce flow. Okay, but not on full release clean yet. Okay, yeah. So, so Safi, I was working on getting this production ready, and I've kind of given AI the job to kind of make sure if it is production ready or not, and just let me know if not, then what needs to be done. So I came up with a few things that I think we can where I need to address, and that's what this might just be more about. So so for now, it says that it's QA internal test flight built for QA only with two conditions before you push. Turn off emulator mode and point everything to at a deployed production Firebase function. Decide whether to hide soft and unfinished flows and the trial language or accept the testers will hit an obvious coming soon areas. Okay. So let's let's run through number one first and let's see if we can figure that out. And I think for number two, we will just hide all of the areas that are kind of hitting a roadblock or unfinished, and we will work on them in our next release. Yeah. So apparently everyone's been talking about how ChatGPT is giving a lot of resets to people. It kind of seems like everyone's getting that. So I also have two resets available. One expiring in 2 days and the other one expiring on the 8th. So I think we can use the higher version just to see if we can get better performance out of it. Yeah, and right. So, and okay, whoever's online, feel free to jump in, put your questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to kind of address whatever those are, and talk about something if it is interesting. Yeah. Okay. So we are kind of in the middle of working through setting up, getting this app ready for production. So I've kind of asked the AI to work on that. It's come up with a few issues that it's identified, which is okay. Right now, my goal is to at least get the first release into iOS, and then we're gonna build up on that. Um, so initially, I did build a whole trial version where it takes you through the trial, and then my idea was to hit it with a paywall, but I think I want to build gradually on all of those things because it gets a little too confusing when we're trying to push everything into production. So like keep a very succinct small version first, get it up there in and then release add-on releases with new functionalities on top. So right now, basically just have the basic structure up, get that validated, and hopefully then build new versions on top of that. So just today I was kind of researching uh, this this functionality. It's called Gauntlet Loop in AI. So I just want to talk a bit about it. Kind of sounds really interesting. So a gauntlet loop mostly commonly refers to an AI multi-agent software development pattern or a hiking in a mountain bike. Oh, okay. That doesn't make any sense. So are you looking for any information? Yeah. Tell me how I can use. So basically, it's an advanced technique, and this was popularized by Matt Schumer. Uh, so it allows to autonomously build highly complex, high fidelity products entirely from a single prompt. So basically, the way it kind of works is the main AI kind of works as the orchestrator, or like it manages everything. So you basically put a goal, give a goal to that AI, and the AI breaks it down into um, multi-part prompts and assigns a separate agent for each one of them. So it creates a special agent for, let's say, if you're building this app, it'll have a special agent for UI, it'll have another agent that's doing only backend coding, another agent that's doing front end coding, another agent that does all the QA. And then basically it assigns work to each one of those QAs, each one of those agents, and then it becomes the manager or the orchestrator, and everything kind of goes to him to for him to review before the final product is um, finalized. So it's called the gauntlet loop because it's going to keep on modifying it and coming up with a better and a better solution every time it comes. So every time it goes to the main agent, it's going to either accept or reject. If it rejects, it's going to go back into the loop and keep on working on that again. So that I thought was a pretty neat technique, and it also gives you this whole master prompt that kind of helps you with setting that up. A gauntlet loop. So, and I think in Codex, basically there's a function called slash goal. So you define the goal and then you put this prompt, and then it starts working based on that gauntlet loop style function. I hope that kind of makes sense. Okay. Um, Now let's move back to our recipe app. Okay, so maps. Okay, I've locked the repo into safe for release behavior. EZ9 now explicitly maps builds profile to EAS environments, and website import now only honors the emulator flag, so the test flight release build won't actually call the email. Okay. The big thing I found next with your Expo repo currently has no EAS environment variables configured for development, preview, and production. That matches Expo's um, current guideline. ES Cloud Builds uses ES managed environment and local get ignored. Files are now not what you should rely on for remote builds. What if you want, I can do the next step now. Sync the existing non-secret Expo public values from your local env into Expo production environment so your test flight has the right Firebase. Yes. Do it as long as it is secure. Okay. Again, if you have any kind of questions, just put it in the chat and I can take those up as well. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna ask this question. Has anyone tried the gauntlet? So here's an idea. So since I have um a few resets remaining, would you guys like me to, since I have two resets available, would you guys want me to set up a gauntlet loop and run it? And let's see, let's just um, run it and see what it produces for this app. If so, give me a like on the chat, and then we can work on that. Okay. Any other questions you guys have? Okay. So, okay, so 8 required Firebase function might be variables update as max sensitive values, new emulator configuration or private secret uploaded, release builds forcefully disabled for Firebase emulator in this, the production build for Firebase uses the production environment, local image remains get ignored. Okay. Firebase client values are inherently visible inside a compiled app. Not even numbered. Why is Google sign-in unconfigured right now? So guys, okay, again, right now my goal is to push whatever we have in production rather than working on any new features. We're gonna disable some of the trial onboardings that we've built, and we're gonna just try to push the first app into production, and then we're gonna build from there. But the ES production environment currently has no Google Auth client IDs. Okay. Perfect. So what's an EAS production environment? What's an EAS production environment? For those of you who are new over here, um, I want to just give a bit of an introduction about myself. My name is Sami, and I have basically zero coding knowledge, but I kind of understand processes and how things work from a functional perspective. So I'm trying to use that kind of knowledge and using AI to wipe code an app. So if a lot of this, maybe if you're a builder or if you are someone who has an understanding of software and coding, then feel free to add your comments down there and kind of guide me if I'm doing something wrong, or if you think there's a better way of doing it, just put it in the chat. Again, I do not have any coding related knowledge. I only understand processes and how the process or should kind of map out, but I've never coded in my life, so which is why this makes it really interesting for me, because seeing what AI can do, it's just like, you just brain dump your idea into AI and it kind of comes up with a plan and then executes it, comes up with like a workable solution. So that's really intriguing for me. So yeah, join my journey if you're interested in seeing where we end up with this app. In addition to that, I've also kind of been working on like distribution AI application. It's mostly for something that I've been doing internally for myself, specifically for distribution after these streams. So the whole idea has been to just kind of take this stream, um, parse it into smaller shorts, and then have those kind of put into YouTube, just so that it gives you more reach, so people can join in and join the journey too. Okay, one other thing that I've started doing more recently, is trying to make my whole setup more efficient. So when I'm offline and kind of working on application, what I've started doing is I keep my Mac open, and then I access it through remote function on my chat GPT through my phone, and I'm just talking with the AI over there, and it's making changes live in the application as well. So that kind of helps me to not be on the desktop, but rather just like I'm in my home and just talking with my phone, and it kind of is working at the back end. Kind of helps, a period where AI is kind of working and it's taking time to think and do all the steps. I don't have to sit over here and wait for it to be done to do the next step. So I'll be doing other stuff, and I check my phone and I like give it other commands, and then I just let it work again. And that's been really interesting for me. Okay. So an EAS production environment is a secure cloud-based setup of configuration values used when Expo builds the release version of your app. Your setup works like this: local.env used when running the app on your computer. The EAS production environment used when Expo builds the test flight store version. Your production profile is built in EAS.json, explicitly selects this environment. It supplies values such as Firebase configuration, backend URLs, and Google Auth client IDs during the build. It does not automatically mean your Firebase database is in production, nor does it publish anything. It is simply the configuration bucket used for release builds. Also, any variable beginning with Expo public is compiled into the app and should never contain password, private keys, or server secrets. So one thing I do feel at this point is, like, since we're going to be working on kind of pushing things into production or test flight, there's going to be a lot of like, adding API keys and all of that into production. And I just, since I don't know too much about the how that environment we can get it secured, so I might do that piece offline, just so that like I don't expose my API keys to everyone, because I've heard really horrible stories with like people who've kind of shown their APIs and not changed it, and then they've got a huge bill. So I'll kind of hold on to that, but I do also want to work on making sure that the application's secure enough that nobody is able to get our API keys as well. So those are some of the things I've been thinking about. That's why I keep on asking the AI over and over again to make it secure and to find out if there's any kind of vulnerabilities. That's a good one. So do you foresee any kind of vulnerabilities right now in the application? And if so, how can we make those safer? Yeah. Are any one of you working on any exciting projects? I'd be interested to know what you're working on. Okay. I'm not too happy with the UI look of it. So I really need to improve that. But that's not uh something we're gonna do today. Okay. Yeah, so we're kind of putting the AI to work at the moment right now to kind of identify if there are any kind of security vulnerabilities, and how once it kind of gives a list of issues that it might have, then we're gonna keep on working on those. Or ask it how we can fix that, and then we're gonna move on to the next one. But I think this is where I wanna stop this live for today. We're gonna pick it up again, and we'll provide you